Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and this is video number 8. This is the last video for the Aran Hearts Throw crochet along. Alright, let me show you what you should have. You should have an afghan that looks something like this with all of these panels. And this is the section where we're going to work on the finishing, which is the finishing that you will work on both ends of this afghan. This is composed of primarily the woven stitch in 6 rows and then a simple row of shell stitch across the bottom. Okay, if you like this video, this style of crocheting, please check out some of my other videos on the channel, and if you want to be a little more adventurous and get into some projects on your own, I have several books on the market. If you wanted to, you can check that out on my webpage at BonnieBayCrochet.com. But either way, it's been great having you guys stick with me this long. So let's go ahead and get started and finish this project, okay? All right, let's go. Hi again, this is Bonnie Barker, BonnieBayCrochet.com, and this is video number 8. We are on the home stretch, everybody. All right, we are now going to do the edging row. This is at the bottom of the page on the pattern. I think it's the second page of the pattern, and it says edging right side. So what that's telling you is that the right side of your throw should be facing as we begin this row. We're going to chain 1, simply chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch in each stitch across. Then we're going to chain 1 for the corner, and then we're going to work 146 single crochet evenly spaced across the side edge. Well, first let's just start the first leg of this, which is slip stitch in each stitch across. What we're going to do is we're going to put our hook through both loops. Okay, we've done a lot of these low front ridge stitches. You don't want to make it a low front ridge. You're going to go through both stitches and do a slip stitch all the way across. And if your edging is starting to curl a little bit, which is not unusual for these afghans, this stitch actually will help take a lot of that out. So we're just doing slip stitch. We're going to do this all the way across. Should be 182 stitches. I'll go ahead and do that, and I will get back with you. Okay, I've gotten all the way through to the end, working a slip stitch all the way across. Now I'm going to chain 1. And the next step is a little trickier. You're going to have to work 140 stitches evenly across the end. That's not very even. You have to decide where to put your stitches. And the best way I can explain to do this is to crochet the way you normally would. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start right here in the end. And I'm just going to crochet normally, try to space them out like you normally would, and then stop and do a count. Another possibility is to go to the center section right here. Okay, mark the center stitch, which is right here. You could put a little stitch marker here and take 140 divided by 2. That'll give you 70. And when you get to this point, you should have approximately 70 stitches. And then, if you don't, rather than go all the way across and have to rip out 140 stitches, if you're like at 60 stitches here, for example, that means you're spacing your stitches too wide and you need to tighten them up a bit. So what you would do is you would rip them out and then just try again and try to get them as evenly spaced as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but try to just visually, make sure that they are even as best as you can get them. And once you get to 70 and you work it out here, you'll have a better feel for it, and then you could work it all the way to the corner. And then once you get to the corner, we will chain 1 and then work along the foundation edge. So I will work mine as evenly as I can across. It may take me a couple tries, and that's okay. And then I'll get back and show you what I've got. Okay, I'm going to show you just a small portion here of what it might look like. I've worked 140 single crochets evenly along the end of the rows. Now I'm going to just chain 1, which I've already done a chain 1, And now I'm going to work a slip stitch, and I'm going to work along this edge, which is the foundation chain that you started with. Okay, so we're just going to slip stitch in each of those. It may look a little different depending on how you work the chain. If you like working the back bump, it really doesn't matter. I like to work along the side of the chain. So what you're basically doing here is working in what's left of it. Some people like to work in one little strand of it. I like to go ahead and just go ahead and get the rest of it. Now the best way you can do this is if you can look and you can carefully see the opposite side of where that stitch went in, and it's pretty simple. You're going to go slip stitch. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this all the way across, and then I'm going to chain one. And when I chain one, I'm going to work the other end doing the same exact thing right here, working 140 stitches evenly along the opposite end. And then when I finish that, I am going to get to the very first single crochet of this round, and then you're just going to join with a slip stitch. Now that we've gone all the way around the perimeter of our throw, we're going to join with the slip stitch to the very first stitch of the round. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to turn. Okay, now we're on the last page of the pattern, and on the under the section that says woven stitch and shell edging, and this is row 1 of the woven stitch, and notice it says wrong side. So the wrong side of my throw is now showing. Now this is kind of a tricky stitch, so you may want to watch carefully, and I'll try to go slowly so that that you can see what I'm doing. And just know that give it some time, and the muscle memory will kick in eventually on this. Okay, this is the woven stitch, and this is the way the stitch is formed. We're going to wrap the hook. We're going to skip the first stitch. Okay, we're going to do this in every other stitch across. Not in every stitch, just every other stitch. Okay, we're going to insert our hook, going through both loops. Whoops, try that again. Under both loops, pull up a loop, and now we're going to pull through 1 loop only, yarn over, pull through 2, and again we're going to wrap the hook, and we're going to stick it into the same place where we just inserted our hook before. Pull up a loop. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Do not loop it again, and then just pull it through those 2, and this is the stitch that you get. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to wrap our hook, and we're going to skip this stitch, and we're going to stick it in the next right here. Pull up a loop, pull it through 1, yarn over, and then pull it through the 2 loops, yarn over again, stick the hook into the same place, and after you have 3 loops on your hook, you do not loop this time, and then you pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. I'm going to do several of these for you so that you can see this. Let me try to get rid of this fabric in the back so that the camera will focus properly. Okay, yarn over. Remember, I'm skipping a stitch. It's every other stitch. Pull up a loop, pull it through 1, yarn over, pull through those 2, yarn over, put it in, pull up a loop, and pull through 2. Skip the next stitch, yarn over, put it in, pull up, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and then pull through 2. I'll do a couple more for you. If you need more help on this, I do have an instructional video that is just on the stitch, which is again called the woven stitch. So if you need extra help and you're still not getting it, you know, it's done in a different color yarn. Maybe that'll help some of you. You can go ahead and take a look. It's on this channel. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this across, and then I will show you how we end it. at the end of this row. Okay, you're going to go all the way across. This is the end of the row, and the last one should go in your last single crochet, like so. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. Bring it back in view there. Chain 2, and we will turn our work to work with the right side facing. And what we're going to do now is we are going to work in between the woven stitches, right in these spaces here. I'll do a couple of them for you. Okay, make sure you chain 2 here before you begin working, and as you go across, you're going to work that last woven stitch in the chain 2 space that's at the beginning of these rows, like right here. There is one at the end. You work the last woven stitch in this chain 2 space here. Okay, let's do another one. And another one. I'll show you what we have here. Okay, so I just want you to see how these woven stitches are worked in between the woven stitches of the previous row. Okay, this is row 2 of the woven stitch and shell section, and you're going to do this row, row 2, and then also row 3, row 4, row 5, and row 6. It's the same, going across, ending by working the last woven stitch in the chain 2 space, chain 2, turn, and then work woven stitches again in between the woven stitches, and at the very end you're going to work your last woven stitch in this chain 2 space right here. So we're going to do that until we have a total of 6 rows of woven stitches. This will again row 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and then after that I will come back and show you how to do the shells, and that will be our last row. For the record, I'm just going to work the last woven stitch in the chain 2 space, right like that. Okay. Now we are ready to do the shell row, which is the last row for the edging. I'm going to chain 1. Well, I should have turned. And so we're going to work this row with the back side facing, or the wrong side facing. Okay. And we're going to, because it's chain 1, working in spaces between woven stitch. We're going to skip the next space. So we're going to skip the first space here. Okay. And then we're going to work 8 treble crochets in the next space. So we're going to be working in this space. We're going to skip this and work in this one. So I'm going to work 8 treble crochets. So that's 1. Oops, let's do that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go ahead and verify the count. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 8 treble crochets. Okay, so that's our shell. We're going to skip the next space, which is this space here between the woven stitches. We're going to skip this one, and then we're going to single crochet in the next space, which is right here. Let's take a look at that shell. Now that's from the back side. That's normally the front side, of the stitch, but on the back side, when you look at it, it's actually going to be quite nice and quite decorative. So we're going to do this all the way across. So one more time, we're going to skip the next space here, and then we're going to work 8 treble crochets in this space, and after I work the 8 treble crochets in this space, I'm going to skip the next space, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next. So I'm going to go ahead, well, I'll go ahead and work one more of these so you see how it's worked. This is a rather easy, straightforward process here, especially considering what we've just come through with all the heart popcorns and everything. This is should be pretty straightforward and on the simpler side for everybody, but still produces what I think is a pretty nice, elegant finish to this throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to skip the space here, and then we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, just like so. So this is what you should have as we go across. Okay, so go ahead and finish that. I will finish this row, and then I'll show you how to end this. Okay, I've worked this all the way across, and I'm going to now do the last shell. I'm going to skip this stitch. It's going to be a little different at the ending here. We're still just going to work 8 trebles in this. I believe it's the last space between the woven stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're simply going to do a slip stitch in the turning chain, just like that, a slip stitch. Okay, so that's a little to end this last one. I'm going to fasten off. I'm going to cut that later. So let me show you what we have for the ending here. Again, this is with the back side facing. Now if we flip this, let me show you how it looks from the right side. Okay, so this is what we have with the right side facing. Okay, so this will actually finish the edging for one side. Now what you need to do is you need to go to the other end of the afghan, and with the, let me see, with the back side facing. Okay, make sure that when you go to this to start, you're going to go to the other end. Let me go ahead and find that end for you. Okay, just a couple hints. When you're working on the other side, you're going to have to join the yarn with the slip stitch. So what I would do is go into that little chain 1 space that was there for the corner. Bring your yarn up. Okay, let's go ahead and I like to pull a little bit tight there so that I know that it's going to stay. Then I'm going to chain 2, and then we start in not the first but the second stitch. We continue our woven stitch, just like so. Skip the next stitch, woven stitch, and the next stitch. Okay, I'm going to do this work just exactly like we just worked it. The only difference is that we had to connect the yarn here in the slip stitch in the chain 1 corner. So you're just going to work rows 1 through 6, and then you're going to work row 7, which is the shell pattern in between the spaces of the woven stitch, just like I showed you. After that, make sure that you take your time to hide any loose threads throughout the afghan, particularly if you're going to enter this in any kind of a county fair contest or state fair. Just one loose strand not hidden can be the difference between a purple ribbon or no purple ribbon, or a blue ribbon and a red ribbon, or maybe even no ribbon at all. So just want to encourage you to take the time to do that. Anyway, it's been great. I thank you for your patience and sticking with me. If you've made it all the way through to the video 8, there's something to be said for that. So anyway, I just want to say God bless you, and I wish you all the best. Bye bye.